Hi, my name is Yvonne Chapman. I play Avatar Kyoshi on Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you're with Pulp Culture with Pat.
Guys, welcome back to Pop Culture with Pat. So I am so excited to be joined by today's guests. Today we're going to be talking all things Avatar: The Last Airbender with Kyoshi herself, Yvonne Chapman. Thank you so much for coming on the show today.
Oh, thank you for having me. Pleasure to be here.
You are very welcome. And first off, just congratulations. The series, it's officially out there for everyone to check out. Myself, I want to say I'm on episode 6 right now. So I'm almost done. I'll be finishing up tonight. But yeah, I mean, just congratulations. Everything that I've seen so far has been incredible.
Oh, thank you. Yeah, it's been a long time coming, and so we're really excited to finally share it with everybody.
Yeah, so when going back to like the beginning, when you first found out, because I know a lot of these things, they're very secret when you're auditioning and everything. What was your initial reaction when you first found out that you were going to be cast as Kyoshi and, just getting to play this iconic character from such a beloved series?
Really, really excited. I mean, it was so surreal for me, and to work again with such a wonderful team. I worked with Michael Goy in the past, who is phenomenal. And I just knew that the people helming this series really loved the original source material, and every single step of the process, everybody is was so devoted and so passionate about it that I hope it resonates when you watch the show, that you can really feel the respect for the original source material there from everybody, because the people that have worked on this show grew up with the cartoon, and if you could just see what their excitement was in working on this thing, I mean, it's so fathomable, especially when you're watching it now.
Oh yeah, for sure. No, watching, like I said, watching the first like handful of episodes so far, you have the essence of the original animated series in there. And it was just so surreal to see some of these characters, make that jump from animation to live action. So I think you guys, all of you, nailed that in your performances for sure.
Thank you. I mean, and how perfect is Aang? How
Oh yeah,
perfect is Gordon?
so
When I
good.
first met him, I was like, "Oh my God, you're Aang." Like
Yep.
it all worked out. And I don't know how many people know this little factoid, but he's actually from Vancouver, where we shot the thing.
Oh, that's
And
really.
I know, and I know that they did like a worldwide search for him, but talk about kismet, where it happens to be he lives here already, and he was so perfect for the role.
Yeah, I mean he's been amazing in the series. I mean
Great.
that's so cool to be kind of, yeah, in your hometown and filming the stuff there.
Yeah, yeah. And I mean everybody is so phenomenal. Yeah, I'm just so proud and happy for the show and for everybody who worked so hard on it.
No, what was it like for you, everyone just being fans of the series, going into it? What was it like for you putting on Kyoshi's costume for the first time and really kind of stepping into the world of that character?
Um, Exhilarating but also scary at the same time, because I love Kyoshi. I do. I'm a fan of hers. And so it's intimidating, because this is if it's something that you love so much, you're like, okay, what do I do with it? And there's so many ways you could go with Kyoshi too. I mean, reading the novels, there's so many different facets of that character. But when I stepped into the wardrobe and the makeup, it just all really fell into place. It's like putting on that different skin, and I just felt so much more at ease being in her clothing and her makeup. It definitely helps tremendously with the process of it all.
Yeah, and shout out by the way to the costume design, the hair and makeup, all you guys, behind the scenes, all of that stuff looks incredible.
Yeah, they did a phenomenal job.
So, like you kind of mentioned, and I was going to ask you about that, Kyoshi has such a history to her, but honestly, in the animated series, it's only really kind of like hinted at. We only get like little bits of pieces. There's a lot that wasn't really explored. There is the book though, so where, you mentioned that you read that. Where did you kind of draw inspiration from when playing a character like this, where there's kind of so much flexibility with stuff that we haven't quite seen yet?
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, I think what needed to be done was to understand what she would think would be best to do in the given circumstance in the situation. Because there's certain things of her that, if I were to play it a different way, would still ring true to her, right? Because there's so much more depth to her in the novels that we just can't portray in the given scene. But in that given scene, I think that particular part of Kyoshi needed to come out in order to help Aang. Um, so it is a tricky balance, right? Because you want to show so much, but at the same time, you really got to just serve the story. And that's what we had to choose to do.
It's funny. It's seeing the people from episode two without going into too many spoilers, but episode two, I'm just seeing a lot of people online saying she's yelling at Aang, and it's like, but that, I mean, that's just how the character like is, and Aang has to learn these lessons along the way that if he doesn't take on the responsibility, what could possibly happen. But it's just kind of funny to see some of the reactions from
No,
people
I
saying that.
understand. I completely understand because it's fair, especially people who read the novels. There's a lot more to her than that for sure. But at the same time, given the circumstance, the island's under attack as we're talking, and the quickest tactic to get him into action, to get him there, would be what I call the tough love.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So she has to do what needs to be done in the given circumstance in that time.
And I just have to say, so for episode two, like I'm not even lying, not just the fact that, I'm talking to you right now. I legit got chills in that one moment in episode two, which I feel like you probably know which moment it is, where kind of make big and grand entrance and start just laying waste to people.
Thank
That
you.
scene was incredible.
That is very Kyoshi.
Yes.
She is that person. Yeah.
That's a highlight for the series for me, so far. So
Thank you.
she's not someone that's afraid to not afraid to throw down, with other people. So I'm curious, how did you kind of prepare as far as like the physical aspects of playing the character as well?
Oh, well, I was lucky. We got incredible stunt team working on that show to show me through the movements. And I was actually working on another show at the same time that required a lot of stunt work. So thankfully it was kind of like a nice overlap there of the training from that show going to this one that was able to use that physicality from it and that training as well. So that definitely helped a lot. But I was just also really excited. I mean, they show you what they call like previs of what the fight's going to look like and what they're kind of imagining. And once you see that, you're like, well, I'm all in. Just tell me exactly what to do, and I will drill it as much as I can to get it right for you guys. So, yeah.
Yeah, because you guys are filming, and obviously, you don't see like the water flying like everywhere, like it is in the show, like in the finished project, the fire and everything. So you have to imagine kind of all of that happening
Yeah.
in the scene when you're filming it. But yeah, I mean the visual effects too, specifically for the bending, were just like kind of mind blowing watching that stuff come to
Oh,
life.
phenomenal. I mean, what was cool when we were filming the fight scene for Kyoshi is we're doing it in this massive um like green screen, so to speak, blue screen. And as we were filming it on the monitors, they were able to place some of the imagery that they were trying to do. It's like just a temporary placeholder, but it really
Yeah,
did give the idea of what the environment looked like. So that definitely helped me in saying, okay, I know where I am right now. I know what she's exactly doing, what she's aiming for. And I mean, they know what they're doing. It looks
yeah.
incredible.
But I mean, yeah, I mean, little things like that. I mean, that goes a long way instead of just
Mhm.
like you having to just completely think what it looks like, in your mind and react to it at the same time. I had read that the main like Avatar gang, they all kind of did like a little like boot camp as far as like the bending and stuff like that goes. Was that something, did you have to do that as well before you actually, started playing the character?
No, I didn't have to do that. But I'm not surprised that they did because by the time it showed up, those movements were like second nature to them. It was
Yeah, 'cause
incredible. Like Gordon in between takes would just start doing all these moves. I'm like, oh, whoa, okay. Like he was so good. So, so good.
those guys were professionals because I want to
Oh
say, I
yeah.
thought I saw it was like from another interview that it was like 6 weeks or something like that they did the training. So I mean that makes sense then.
Yeah, for sure.
Now, prior to being cast in the show, you mentioned that so you were a fan of like the animated series before coming doing the live action, you said, right?
Mhm.
Okay. So who you said that you loved Kyoshi, was she your favorite character from the animated series, or did you have another favorite?
Honestly, no, she wasn't my favorite character because she wasn't a huge part of the original animated series. So it wasn't, a storyline that I could really deeply get into. I really loved Iroh. I really loved him and like, oh, just his whole story. And there's this, I think my favorite episode from the original series was probably, oh, I think it's Tales of Ba Sing Se.
Yep.
And it kind of shows a little bit of every character. And oh, that one was just so beautiful to me. But Iroh is so heartbreaking, but he's just such a lovely man. I'm like, just give the man tea. Let
Yeah.
him live his life. Like,
Just give him this tea. But yeah, no, I mean,
yeah.
Iroh's definitely a fan favorite for sure. I mean, what we've seen, so far in the series, or I've seen, I should say, so far in the series, already gotten some moments where it's like you can feel the tears coming watching, specific moments in
Oh,
the episodes.
Paul is so good. He's so good.
Was there anything, as far as playing this character, was there anything that you learned about yourself from playing Kyoshi?
Oh, um, yeah, that I guess I can yell at somebody as adorable and sweet and kind. It was tough actually. Like being that I'm like, it's so hard to be angry at this this guy. Like he is so sweet. And so playing that part, I was like, after we take him like, sorry, man.
I don't really mean that.
I don't mean that. You're the best. But I guess I have it in me.
But yeah, I
I
mean,
don't want to make that a habit, but let's just
I mean, it's cool though that he literally seems like almost like Aang, just like what you would picture like as Aang is like a live, action like version, just
totally.
his energy that he has about him when I've seen him, talking in interviews and stuff like that. So
Yeah.
it's, but yeah, I'm sure, obviously he understands that it's, you're just doing the scene
Oh
and
no, he was
that.
fantastic. He was fantastic. He took no mind to it, but yeah.
And so this fan, I mean, or this fan base, like very passionate, obviously, being a fan of the series yourself. Can you just talk about what it means to be involved in a series like this? And were you, you mentioned a little bit, were you, nervous at all going into it, just where the fan base is so passionate about the original material?
Oh, I was so nervous because I everybody on the show wants to get it right. And the thing about creating something like this, you're not going to get everything right, or you're not going to appease everybody. And to appease everybody who's a fan of this show is just it's impossible. But I think they did a fantastic job. I mean, and looking at the fan responses now, everybody seems to be pretty happy with it. I mean, the animation series is one thing, the live action is going to be another, and we just want to bring justice to what that story was and how beloved it was. And I really do think the team has done that, and I know they worked incredibly hard to do it. So I hope the fans are happy. So far, it seems good.
Yeah, I'll
Yeah.
say honestly, so far, I love that it's kind of, obviously there's moments where it's like you have to do those certain scenes, but one of my favorite things about the series so far is that it captures the original's essence, but there's also some things that it expands on that we might have not necessarily seen in the original animated series, and I really appreciate that because as well as
Yeah.
while I love the animated series, you don't want to see like an exact adaptation. You want to have some things in there that are, surprises. So that way you can, enjoy it and you don't know everything that's coming around the corner.
I'm totally with you on that because now we have two things to enjoy. Now we have the live action, we have the animation, and we can go back to them as a fan to both and enjoy both in a different way. But still keeping the essence of what the story actually is and who these characters are. For me personally is my preference, and so I'm with you on that too.
Exactly. And I imagine, just like working on the series was just such a blast, like overall. So is there any like stories or anything that come to mind, just like working on the series? I know it was like a couple years ago, but is there anything that kind of jumps to the front of your mind, just that a fun memory or like a funny moment with the cast behind the scenes?
You know, I think just going back to probably the most salient memory was when I went into the costume fitting because again, it's like putting on that skin for her and it is an elaborate costume as you
It
guys could
looks it.
see. There was layers, there's people who had to lace me up to, and even the details that you can't see, like even on her boots are done exactly to the T of how it was. The research on that took for that was incredible. So when I actually put on the costume, I think, God, the joy of the costuming department who worked so tirelessly on this, and for me to step onto it was such a moment of like, there she is. And that to me is what I'm probably going to take away the most from the whole experience was that first moment of stepping into her costume.
Yeah. Well, hey, Yvonne, it has been a pleasure talking to you today. Thank you so much, for your time, just, talking about the show. Again, congratulations on the series. I can't wait to finish it up and I'm really hoping, we get a couple more future seasons of the series as well. But shout out to you, to the rest of the team. Thank you again so much.
Thank you, Pat. Appreciate you. Hi, my name's Yvonne Chapman. I play Avatar Kyoshi on Netflix's Avatar: The Last Airbender, and you're with Pulp Culture with Pat.